Trauma. It is a word we hear often in various circles, most especially in the aftermath of tragedies such as the Lahaina wildfires. And you'll be surprised to find out what may be causing trauma to members of your own family, but there is a way to help protect them. Joining me now is Casey Park, Social Marketing Director of the Hawaii State Department of Health Child and Adolescent Mental Health Division. Casey, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. You know, because we've heard that using too much social media can be bad for your mental health, but can it actually cause trauma?
When a tragedy happens in our community, a lot of us will rush to social media to find out what's going on and to connect with one another. But studies are finding now that when we increase our media use after a tragedy, especially when we're seeing a lot of repetitive, graphic, upsetting images and videos, we're actually at a higher risk for experiencing trauma symptoms ourselves. Our brains just are not meant to be seeing this type of content over and over again. But unfortunately, social media algorithms tend to really reward that kind of content.
It does. You know, who is at risk for experiencing trauma within our families from seeing too many of these graphic images on social media?
Anybody could be at risk of secondary trauma from what they see on screens. However, we want to pay a bit of special attention to children, teens, and young adults. We practically grew up on social media, and a lot of us use it to find comfort and entertainment and connection. And while it can be really great at all of those things, when a tragedy happens and everybody's reposting all of these really upsetting images and videos because that kind of content does really well on those platforms, suddenly your go-to coping tool is not safe for you anymore, and it's actually working against you. It can be really, really hard to take a step back from social media when there's a community tragedy because a lot of us feel like we owe it to the direct survivors to stay informed and to share some important messages. And while that can absolutely be a way to help our community out in these trying times, we really just have to take care of our mental health. You hear it over and over again, but you truly cannot be serving your community at 100%, especially not in any type of long-term way if you are not taking care of yourself.
Absolutely right. And you did mention that our younger generations, this is all they know. They actually grew up with the internet, whereas some of us older people, we didn't have that. So this is how they communicate, and this is their way of connecting with the world. So what are some ways, Casey, that we can start to take care of ourselves, protect ourselves from those things if we've been seeing too many upsetting things on social media, but still at the same time engaging with our online community?
Mhm. I myself find that when I'm scrolling a bit too much or starting to feel a bit hopeless or sad about the things that I'm seeing on social media, it's really, really helpful to find a way to help your community off social media. So that might look like signing a petition, like calling your local official, making a donation pile, or even just as easy as texting or calling one of your friends that might have been affected just to check in on them. And I find that that brings me a lot of peace while still allowing me to be an active member in healing our community. A lot of people are experiencing this kind of secondary trauma through screens right now. And for them, I think it's really important that they know that they're not alone. They're not being dramatic. And that feeling trauma symptoms from what you see on screens is real. Our brains are not meant for this. So the Department of Health has put together a bunch of fantastic strategies for how to limit your media use if it's starting to get to you, as well as some age-appropriate care resources and just general information and resources at hawaiiheals.org. And we really urge anybody that's in need of urgent support, don't hesitate to call or text 988 to be connected with a Hawaii Cares crisis counselor.
Thank you so much, Casey. HawaiiHeals.org making a great resource for Hawaii families. We appreciate you folks so much. Mahalo nui.